Hi, my name is Michael Staton. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Integral. We make the Schools app, which is a social application enabling student success at post-secondary institutions. I taught in our nation's public high school system for 3 years, and that gave me a perspective on some of the challenges that our educational system faces. I prepared this presentation for TEDx, and I'm posting it now to share that perspective on a paralyzing force in our education system today. Every year, 4 million students head off to college. And for each and every one individual, this is a pivotal life transition. It's filled with anxieties, questions, and moments that require navigating circumstances that are new and require new habits and approaches to their education. And the sad truth is that right now, around half of these kids aren't going to make it. They're going to drop out, many with college debts and no college degree. That's true. The data shows that the primary reason that students choose to drop out are related to the deep financial burden of putting yourself through school. Many more lose their way because they're not academically prepared. But what the research is also surfacing is that so many more of these kids aren't making it through for two major reasons. Many of them aren't procedurally prepared and aren't socially supported. So this is what I want to raise awareness of: the procedural preparedness and the social support system of the student. Let's start with procedural preparedness. Over the past 20 years, education policy has pushed school in America towards content standards, meaning we expect students to know a minimum amount of information before they can get promoted from one grade to the next. And if you look at these content standards across states, they're pretty fair. It's pretty basic information, and you'd like to think that kids should have this kind of knowledge before they graduate from high school. But the result for our children has been pretty dismal, and has by all accounts failed at increasing outcomes. However, the hidden scenario is actually worse. It's been counterproductive, because in order to comply with content standards and assure that kids are passing standardized tests, the experience in American schools has almost universally become about reading textbooks, filling out worksheets, and taking multiple choice tests, so that each and every individual student is experiencing the same standardized environment. There's simple information. If you digest it in prepackaged ways, you can pass a pre-prepared test. Now, let's not even worry about whether kids are passing these tests or meeting the content standards. Even if they are successful, our education system is training them for a college and a life that doesn't operate on the same model. Even in college, information isn't easily presented, and you can't process it in pre-prepared ways. And this is true even more so out in the job market. So what happens is that when these kids get to college and to life, they try to use the same rules they've learned with the same inappropriate model of learning, and they fail. It's alarming, but we're setting them up for failure. Almost all of our children are going off to college with procedures that just don't work. And they get there, and they're trying to adapt, and a lot of them have to do this alone. Even the feeling or perception of going through this alone, despite the support systems that our academic institutions have, can be overwhelming. And many students end up dropping out because they feel like they don't have the kind of encouraging social support system they need. They never feel like they fit in, they never get involved, and they don't have the kind of peer network that supports them through the behavioral and mindset transitions needed to adapt to succeed in college. The irony here is that there's lots of academic support. There are billions of dollars and millions of our most dedicated minds at work trying to increase the success of our students. But they assume that the problem is that the kids didn't learn the content they were expected to learn. So they focus on content remediation, sending them backwards instead of forwards. They're not focused on the fact that these students completely lack the procedures for participating in an education system beyond the walls of high school. In the end, the student is still using inappropriate procedures for participating in their learning environment, and they're feeling isolated and alone as they find these inappropriate procedures aren't working. So what do? Where do we invest? Let's not even discuss the untold billions of dollars that are going into physical campuses that are going to be increasingly irrelevant in an information-based world. Our colleges and universities are also spending upwards of $10 billion a year on technology that doesn't affect students at all. This technology doesn't engage students and doesn't behave like the social technology these students are growing up on. Our students are growing up on technology that is social, that helps them build and maintain connections with people. The transformation that has been happening with social technology is enormous, and our post-secondary institutions haven't even begun to adapt to take advantage of the most dramatic transformation since the Industrial Revolution. All the investment in education technology right now is going into how to get students to learn in technology systems that are focused on spoon-feeding well-produced chunks of information through the web, immediately linked to adaptive tests that keep them in a tightly controlled loop of spoon-fed knowledge. But this is the same paradigm that's not working with textbooks and worksheets. It's the same procedure they're going to learn that's not going to translate to college or to life in general. So here's my proposition. Let's stop investing in learning technology. Create an environment where kids have to navigate through messy and incomplete information, where they have to do research and interact with their environment, and where they have to process the information in unstructured, collaborative, and self-made ways. And let's start investing in social technology that embraces the innovations in the social web, that helps students find and secure the types of social supports necessary for them to succeed. Let's make sure they're not alone as they adapt their approach to learning. So let's move the focus. Let's make sure our students are procedurally prepared offline and have social support online. Again, my name's Michael Staton. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Integral. We make social technology for student success, and I thank you for your attention.